Hello. I hope all is well wherever you are. So, today's video is about women, the single life, and 4B, the 4B movement. I have been seeing so many content pieces around this 4B movement, and it's so exciting to see so many women passionate about living life on their terms, taking full ownership of their happiness and their peace and their growth and their healing. And it's just so beautiful to see. And I love this for us. And so the 4B movement surrounds four things, between men and women, heterosexual relationships. So, no dating, no relations, no marriages, no babies. And what surprised me the most about seeing so many women talk about this is how many women have already been practicing these four steps, long before we knew that there was a name for it, which is based in South Korea. But so many women have been single for so many years, and happily so, in all ages, from freshly into adulthood into our elders who have, been there, done that, never want to do it again. And that's been another eye opening, not necessarily confirmation, because everybody's life is different. Everybody is experiencing, similar experiences, but you do have to be careful when you are hearing the experiences of others to not, allow their experience to be unknowingly become yours, if you get what I'm saying when I say that. So you do have elder generations of women that have done the marriage, done the mothering, and the cons kind of outweigh the pros. Or if they strictly done the marriage and now they're in a place where they would never get married again. And I don't know how many like women's comments that I saw where they just feel like they've wasted so many years in a particular marriage and are now flourishing outside of that. And the younger generation, I'm not seeing a lot of reasoning behind it. Then again, you could have some young girls that already have a story that has left a bad taste and therefore already feel like they are better, just being by themselves for a spell or whatnot. And in my case, I haven't dated since I started my healing journey. And I feel like a whole new person. And, there are standards in place, there are boundaries in place. I have become so content in solitude that I've wondered myself, would I ever step outside of this to actually date? I've talked about it, I've thought about it, but nothing has pushed me to put any action behind it because I love it here. I love being responsible for myself and my happiness and my peace, and loving on myself. And I don't necessarily miss having relations with a guy, because it was never about that for me. I love intimacy, but that, and I guess for me, we just all think differently about intimacy and sexual relations or whatever. But like, I don't. And before I really took control of my life, I was feeling lonely. I did feel like I needed to be with someone to feel stimulated, and I'm just not there anymore. So it's like, I don't know what the future looks like. I'm open. I just know I don't desire marriage. I've made sure that I can't have kids. And I don't desire to live with a partner. Like, cohabitation is just no. So where does that leave me? Right where I am, and opening myself to allowing my path to unfold as it should. I'm not forcing anything. I'm just living. And I truly love the space that I am in. Like, I've never, like, before 2021, I could go and hug that girl, that version of me, for how much she lacked within herself, myself, you know, and the things that I put up with from men. And it's like, and when you do have history that you can look back at with a matured mind and growth within, I no longer regret it. I no longer hate myself for the things that I've experienced. I've said this before, but it all had to happen in order for me to be able to look back and know what not to do, know what to learn from, know what boundaries and standards to establish for myself. I needed those experiences to have all that I have right now. So it's not a regret thing, but coming to a place of acceptance and allowing myself to grow from who I used to be and how I used to look at myself. And it definitely took me closing doors on people of my past in order to do that. Like, I really had to sit in solitude and really peel back the layers of who I was and why I was, and open myself up to finally being able to love all that I am and all that I am growing to be. And I love myself so much. It's been a beautiful, hard journey, but so worth it. And This is what I want for women all around the world, to just find their place in this lifetime where they love themselves above all else. I'm telling you, it'll change your life when you realize how much of your sanity, your happiness, your peace that you place in the hands of others. I probably said that before too, but it's so true. And another thing is that things can be so simple to where there are like so many small, short, and sweet statements regarding life and living and being and existing that it sheds away all of the fluff. Because I find myself saying that a lot. I probably said this before, and that's just how simple it can be. We make life more complex than it has to be. I don't believe that there are as many rules and regulations to how we are supposed to live as society portrays there to be. And that's what you have to break away from. And it takes a lot of unlearning to get to that place, but you can get there if you're willing. There's nothing wrong with being single. There is nothing wrong with not wanting to have children. There is nothing wrong with decentering men from your life. I feel like it's necessary because they have been the center for so many years. You're talking all the way back into our great, 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 great grands. Like, this is our time. And Lord knows, you have so much happening in certain relationships where we know we are in these places that don't deserve our presence. And that's all that I'm saying, because there are good people out in the world. There are good men out in the world. There are marriages that are good, pure, loving, and good to and for the people that are in them. So it's not to condemn all men, but I do feel like it's necessary for women to take the time to figure out who they are truly within solitude. I feel like that's something we all should take the time to do. I and it almost seems like we are introduced to catering to men even as kids, because I ain't even start that, but I was just gonna say, because if you think about it, it starts in the family. I remember a content creator was saying that about women raising children. She said that when mothers raise their daughters and love their sons or something like that. But when it comes to how much boys tend to be coddled in families, which leads to them being coddled as adults, and most of the daughters are literally raised to survive, um, and get through and push through and depend on themselves to get where they need to go. I mean, we are essentially taught not to depend on men, or at least we are shown that we cannot depend on men. That's just my experience coming from a single parent home within a single parent majority family. The women got stuff done consistently. And a lot of that plays into how you look at relationship and men in the future. And then of course, as you grow older and your heart comes into play, it's just a whole different ball game. You don't really keep a hold of your common sense when the heart is in the midst. Hence, doing things that you never thought you would do and sticking around through stuff you never thought you would. We've all been there. We've all been there, done that. We all have a story. So there's no shame, no judgment, none of that. We have all done it. And it also makes it hard when you see the younger generation of women going through certain things within relationships and knowing that you cannot stop people from mistakes. And on the other side of that, you shouldn't want to stop others from mistakes, because that's how we learn. We have to live and we have to learn. And I'm also seeing, because you have certain young influencers that display their entire lives for social media and all of the clowning that comes with certain young women in their relationships and why they are in these relationships and the back and forth, it's over, it's not type of thing. We've all done it. They just have their stuff on Front Street for everybody to see. But it's not okay to judge, because we've all been there and done that. And of course, it's hard to listen when your heart is telling you one thing. And sometimes, a lot of the time, it outweighs common sense in your mind. So it's just something you have to live through. And eventually, and sometimes it takes years, you get tired of being tired, and you literally have to let it play out and let them come to that point themselves, because they're not going to listen. Nobody listens at any given age, especially young age in our 20s, 18 teens into our 20s. Listening to anybody, you're literally listening to your heart, even though it's getting you into some messed up stuff. But eventually you will reach your point. That is my hope. And it could be looked at as a fact, because we all hit that point at some point in our lives, right? Yeah. I love being single. And what I'm really proud of is that I have managed to cut myself off, right? And do the work that I needed to do to feel good feel good about myself. And I have, on my own, with a lot of help from God and my spiritual tribe and therapy and a whole lot of reflection, I have come into my own season of pure happiness and joy. And I didn't, have to place that responsibility on anybody's shoulders but my own. And nobody could ever take that away. And so when I say like the journey, it is so eye opening, life changing. It's everything. Like it is everything. Like, and I'm not kidding when I say like I have never in my life been this happy. Like ever, ever been this insanely happy and full of joy and like allowing God to shine so much light into my life. Like I've never experienced anything like this. And it still like feels like a gut punch when I really allow myself to like just be filled up with gratitude, because I just did not think, I never dreamed that I would feel so good about myself. So it just makes me really, really happy to see so many women taking control of their happiness for themselves, because it's so necessary. And it's okay to still want love. It's okay to still want romance, and even marriage or a boyfriend or any kind of partnership you may be aspiring to. Don't let anyone ever shame you for still desiring love and affection, and even in a romantic sense. Um, we all have different wants and different needs at different times and different periods of our lives. So it's okay to still desire those things. I only say to do the work yourself, so that when you do find yourself ready to get back out there, that you do have those boundaries, you do have those standards, and be okay with it working out in your favor or it's not going to work out in your favor. And that no one can ever take the happiness you have established for yourself. Nobody can take that from you. And you go out into the world with the intention of whoever you come across, they are adding to your life and not subtracting from your life. Nobody should be subtracting anything from your life. Your peace is yours to protect and honor. Same with your happiness and your healing and growth. All of those things that you do for yourself that are your responsibility, yours to protect, in your complete control, and nobody else's. Like that should never be in the hands of anybody else but you. And like I stand 10 toes down about that for myself. And so that's why I am so thankful that I have done the work, and I'm so excited to see this movement for women all around the world. And I really hope that, more and more women step into that light of wanting better for themselves and establishing those things for themselves first. It's just a very, very exciting time to be alive in this sense. I mean, period. I am thankful for my life. I am thankful for all that I have. and all that is coming my way. Because things are shifting for sure out here. I don't know how, but I just feel like things are turning, and they are turning for the better. And that's what I'm choosing to believe and lean on. So I think that wraps up my video about the single life. I am just, I'm so happy for us. I really didn't have much to say about men. I mean, I just know from my own experience. I don't know if there are enough men that are like really serious about healing and opening all those doors to why you are the way you are and all those things. Like, I've seen a few, but not nearly enough, So I don't know. I just know I'm proud of us. And I really hope that this blows up in the best of ways to where more and more women take responsibility for their happiness. We deserve it. And it's that simple. Until next time.